Hello, Philly YouTube fans. Now we're going to do a review. So, I've seen all the Batman films by Christopher Nolan, and they're all brilliant. But I want to discuss Batman's flaws and how basically all his decisions changed the films. So in the first film, it's pretty obvious he's trying to become Batman. There was this whole debate about how, it's completely against what the comic books did, but I think that's great. Because I think if more people go against what the comic books are doing, it just gives the Batman story a very different take on what was made. I mean, there's this whole comic book apparently called I wrote it down too. Oh, come on. Flashpoint. Apparently, Martha Wayne becomes the Joker, and Thomas Wayne dies or something. Anyway, it's really interesting because it's a complete spin-off story. Instead of, the Joker becoming the Joker, it's Martha Wayne who becomes the Joker, which is more like a Harley Quinn origin story. And I think Thomas Wayne is killed or something. But anyway, it's a very interesting take. Anyway, so in Batman Begins, Bruce Wayne's parents are murdered. Bruce Wayne leaves Gotham City to train. And I don't think at the beginning he really knows what he's training for. He meets the League of Shadows, which becomes the ultimate story for the three films. He meets Ra's al Ghul. Again, I do not know Ra's al Ghul's origin story, but like a lot of people hated Christopher Nolan's take on Batman because he's not a soldier. He doesn't go to China and get trained by Ra's al Ghul. Ra's al Ghul is one of his enemies. And it really brought Christopher Nolan down because he's just like, shut up. Like, I don't have to follow other people's structures. Look at Stanley Kubrick. I mean, he destroyed Stephen King's The Shining to Stephen King. I think it's an amazing film. His film is terrible. I mean, the one Stephen King selected, 4 hours of crap. It's like, look, the sun. I'm an actor with no personality. It was terrible. But Batman Begins is an amazing film. And there's also the argument about, Christian Bale's voice. Where are the other drugs going? Like, everyone's like, Batman doesn't talk like that. It's like, yeah, but it gives a whole new layer to the character, which I think is pretty cool. Anyway, so in Batman Begins, Batman is facing the mob, basically. And then he's facing Ra's al Ghul's men because their whole goal is to destroy Gotham City. And they are not really listening to Bruce Wayne or Batman because at this point he's become Batman because he's learned that rather than fear what he's afraid of, which is bats, and he's afraid of bats because he fell down a well when he was young. He was surrounded by tons of them. And I mean, it's a pretty legitimate fear to be afraid of bats when you've actually faced them first. And so what he decides to do instead is, rather than be, afraid of your fear, you become your fear. So he becomes a bat. It's actually pretty brilliant. And what's really great about the League of Shadows is he learns how to be in the darkness, so he can really use the darkness as his ally rather than his enemy. Because I guess that is one of his enemies, darkness. Because bats, darkness, bats live in the dark, they sleep in the dark. It's pretty fantastic. But anyway, so he faces Ra's al Ghul's men because Ra's al Ghul is convinced that Gotham is beyond saving, and And so burning down the entire city is a better idea than trying to stop the crime that's already happening, because he thinks the crime is so high that it's not worth saving, and there's just no point. It's useless. But what's interesting is Alfred, who Michael Caine plays. Alfred's whole take on this is very interesting. I mean, in the first movie, he never really wanted Bruce Wayne to come back. But he doesn't really say this until the third movie. But it's like they burned down Wayne Manor, so they have to build Wayne Manor all right to the way it was, brick by brick, which it actually isn't by the third movie. But anyway, that's kind of cool. We meet Katie Holmes as Rachel Dawes. Rachel Dawes is not in Batman Begins. I mean, Rachel Dawes is not in the original Batman series. Again, fans were angry about that. It's like, shut up. Okay? Like, go find new comic books to read, or just enjoy your comic book fandom and stop complaining about other stuff. I mean, I had this woman on Quora, which I'm becoming extremely active on, and she's just like, what if I write a fan fiction story that's already been made? I'm just like, just do it. And she's like, this is not helpful. And I'm like, this is exactly what I'm doing. I submitted a fan fiction novel to a contest. You know, I probably do need the DC rights, but it's fun writing about these characters. Now everyone just thinks I'm lost in these characters and I'll never come back, which is stupid because I still focus on other writing. I'm not submitting my Joker novel to publishing companies. I'm submitting my first novel, The Wrongdoer, to publishing companies, which I'll be reading next. But anyway. So that's Batman Begins. So Bruce Wayne, Batman, saves Gotham City. Ra's al Ghul dies, but his theory is amazing. He's like, I don't have to kill you, but I won't save you either. Or no, he says, I don't have to kill you, but I also don't have to save you, or something. Probably a better line. I don't have to kill you, but I don't have to save you. And he just leaves. And his scene is amazing. Like, Ra's al Ghul's eyes just close. He's just, like, waiting for death. It's beautiful. Anyway. So, that's Batman Begins. Bruce Wayne's trying to convince Ra's al Ghul that Gotham is worth saving. He fails because Ra's al Ghul doesn't agree, even with, because he still thinks he's weak, and he is weak. He doesn't really know the power that Ra's al Ghul has. But what also is interesting is later on in the series you'll learn that Batman has a lot of friends, and if Batman focused on his friendships, he might be able to get out of different situations. Like, Alfred doesn't want him to be Batman. In the beginning movie, Bruce Wayne doesn't really want to be Batman, but he has to be Batman to stop Ra's al Ghul. But Rachel Dawes is like, you know, if you weren't Batman, we could be together. And to him, that's, like, more important. Anyway, so the first movie ends with Detective Gordon showing, because he works with the police force, Batman works with the police force. He doesn't know who Bruce Wayne is. And Batman faces Detective Gordon, and Detective Gordon says, yes, we got a new criminal. He's like you, likes the theatrics, and it's the Joker. And it's the perfect opening into the new movie. Because in the second movie, it's all about the Joker. And we sort of forget about Ra's al Ghul's men and his entire mission to destroy Gotham City. And in a way, he's already done with that. But what's also stupid is Batman believes that it's more important to go after the mob than one man, which is ludicrous. And because of that, the Joker gets to just do whatever he wants. And he does. He kills Rachel Dawes. He two-faces Harvey Dent. I mean, it's total chaos, which is exactly what the Joker loves. And in the end, the Joker doesn't even die. He's caught. And it's said he goes to, I mean, it's not said actually, but we just assume, because Christopher Nolan's apparently now following the rules of the Batman universe, which I don't think DC cared about, by the way, or Warner Brothers, but whatever. Anyway, the Joker goes to to Arkham Asylum, and we don't get to see him again because Heath Ledger died, which is kind of tragic. But the opening for The Dark Knight Rises is even better than I think the opening for the Joker, because like we're on a plane. Bane is one of the scariest characters. Some fans think that he was too scary. Like, what? That's like telling wow. That's like telling a serial killer, you're too scary, stop killing my children. Like, what? That's good if he's too scary. I mean, what? You're having nightmares of this masked man? Nobody knows who we are. And it's actually really interesting because Bane has a mask that muffles his voice, but Bruce Wayne uses a voice too, so it's like, in a way, he's met his match because we get back to the League of Shadows, and Bane is part of the League of Shadows. He's like, oh, you think darkness is your ally? You merely adopted the dark. I was born in it. He just captures Batman randomly in the darkness, and it's just like, wow, he's intense. And he's like, what will fail first? Your spirit? And he breaks his back, or your body? He just throws him down a well. Not a well, into the sewers. They're already in the sewers. It's brilliant, but what's also interesting is if you're talking about editing and proper filming, before that scene, we've got Commissioner Gordon, who's been promoted commissioner because of the capture of the Joker in the second movie, The Dark Knight. Anyway, he gets caught by Bane's men. But before I get into that, I'll just talk about the plane scene, which is really incredible. So there's a plane, and there's this idiot guy who was just like, who are you working for? And then the guy doesn't answer. Who's Bane? But we don't know it's Bane yet. And he fires a bullet into the air, and he's just like, he didn't do so well, and moves him back. And I guess the other guy is just like, who are you working for? Just like, you can't play silent forever. And then Bane is just like, or maybe he's wondering why you would shoot a man before throwing him out of a plane. It's a great scene. It's just like, he's like, who are you? And he takes off the hood that's still covering, that covers Bane, and so now he's got the mask. He's like, it doesn't matter who we are. All that matters is our plan. Is getting caught part of your plan? Of course! So what's the next part of your plan? Crashing this plane. And it's just insane. Another plane goes on top of this plane and captures the bottom plane and just flips it sideways. It's an intense scene. I don't want to describe it too much because it's golden. It's one of the best scenes I've ever seen in film, to be honest. And Christopher Nolan is a master at filming. And it's just watching it, because he doesn't use digital film, is you feel like you're there. Like you feel like you're on that plane. And you know, that plane's going down and they're hanging so high up. I mean, if I were the director, none of that would be green screen. Like, the actors would actually be there. Of course, we would have figured out strings and whatever so the people don't actually die, but it would just be such an intense scene. And Tom Hardy is a pretty intense man. But anyway, so Batman faces Bane, and in the end he ends the League of Shadows because he learns that Talia, who he doesn't know is Talia at the beginning, Miranda Tate. She's the daughter of Ra's al Ghul, and so she's trying again to destroy Gotham City, but in a different way, because they're able to, her energy plan really is just so she can get this energy source turned into a nuclear bomb and blow up Gotham City. In the end, Batman saves Gotham City, but what's interesting is he doesn't come back. He marries or dates Selina Kyle, and Alfred tells Bruce Wayne in the third movie that he wished that Bruce Wayne had never come back to Gotham City because there's nothing here for him. And when Rachel dies, he just assumed that he would have no reason to come back to Gotham City. He talks about burning the letter, talks about how Rachel was never going to be with Bruce Wayne. What's really interesting about the movies, and I'll probably watch them again sometime in like a sequence, each story follows the other one. We never really see that in the others. I mean, like the first movie is about Batman becoming Batman and what he can do. In the beginning, he's just got a stapler to Jim Gordon's head, and Jim Gordon thinks it's a gun, because think about the cold feeling of a stapler to the back of your neck. It probably could feel like a gun. I mean, he's probably never had a gun pressed to his neck before. I mean, it doesn't matter. The point is, Bruce Wayne is trying out his invention, which he hasn't really made yet, which is Batman. And by the end of the movie, he's established himself as Batman. Criminals fear him. In the second movie, it's like, yeah, you know, it's very unlikely you'll run into him. And it's like, well, he's still here. And so the movie ends with him going to face the Joker, and then the next movie is the Joker. And he makes a lot of mistakes, which just shows that Batman is human, but not thinking clearly. And the sad thing about Batman is he's always working alone. He doesn't want to work with anybody. So it makes perfect sense that he wouldn't want the help really from the police. He just needs the police to lead him to the criminals, and they can arrest them or whatever. All he wants to do is stop the big things that are happening, and the big thing is the Joker. In the end, he goes after the Joker. But this is already when Rachel has died. Harvey Dent has been two-faced. Like, it's like no turning back for him. And then in the third movie, we've got, you know, Jim Gordon wanting to admit that Harvey Dent didn't die because of Batman. Harvey Dent was already on this rampage to kill because of him losing his soon-to-be wife, Rachel Dawes. And he never gets to read this script because he decides that it's not time. And Bane, when he captures Commissioner Gordon, finds his script, and later on he reveals it, and he's just like, and do you accept this man's resignation? Should be a character voice actor. But anyway, and so that's the third movie. And so The Dark Knight ends with Batman being a vigilante, and then the third movie is like Batman has retired. This is like 4 years later, so Wayne Manor has been built. Remember when Wayne Manor was being built in the first movie? In the second movie, they never go to Wayne Manor. Wayne Manor is being built, so they're living in some like high-rise, which is pretty cool and very accurate. I mean, they didn't need to do that. But then again, they didn't need to keep it so sequential. And then in the third movie, it's like 4 years later. Wayne Manor's made. Bruce Wayne has basically given up on Batman, and to a lot of fans, or to even Alfred, he's just like, finally. But also he's like, why is he still living in Gotham City? He even tells Bruce Wayne it's like he's waiting for like another big event to happen. And think about it. If you're a superhero, that's exactly what your job is. To like stop the big things. Like if there's one criminal robbing a store, if you got one man like raping a woman, like those things don't matter. What matters is the bigger picture. The cops are for that. But the thing is, the cops are so dirty, as you really learn in Gotham, the show. And so it's like, but think about it. If you're a superhero, the idea is that you're everywhere all the time, but the reality is you're not. And so the fact that he's given up the mask is like very human. It makes sense. I mean, someone who has to be a superhero for that long and doesn't have superpowers, just literally a human being, it's like extremely stressful. And I mean, he tries to even give up on Bane. Like he doesn't really want to go back to Gotham City when Bane breaks his back, but he has to. He has to stop this madman from destroying his city. It's just, it's so well done. So, I don't know what else to say. I guess recap. Batman Begins, we learn about who Batman is. In The Dark Knight, we basically learn who the Joker is and how Batman makes a lot of mistakes. And in the third movie, we learn that Batman has met his match. Like, you think the Joker is his match, but then you meet Bane. I mean, the Joker never takes anyone up in a plane. He doesn't commit those kinds of acts, because to him, he's happier on the ground than in the skies. Like, look, think about it. He drives a truck. He doesn't fly the plane. He doesn't fly the helicopters. No, not even his men follow the helicopter. It's like, to him, more of it, he's a military man, but he's a military man that doesn't want to leave the ground. Like, think about it. Every single scene that the Joker is in, he's on the ground. Like, maybe he's in a building that's a bit different, but he's never in the sky. He's never underwater. Like, he's a ground man. So if you think about it, if he was in the army, he was in the infantry, because you would be on the ground, the infantry. Anyway, but that's the Joker. And Bane is also a military man, but he behaves very differently. You know, he uses planes, he uses bombs, he robs the stock market. Like, to the Joker, none of that stuff is important. All he cares about is causing chaos, and Bane isn't just causing chaos, he's trying to destroy a city. The Joker's just trying to have fun. And what's interesting is his fun is extremely psychotic and insane. But if you watch Jared Leto's Joker, it's like he's having more fun than Heath Ledger's Joker would have, because Heath Ledger just wants to see the world burn. But Bane actually wants to burn the world. The difference between the Joker and Bane is the Joker wants to watch the world burn, but Bane wants to be the one to actually to burn the world. Joker's fine with just sitting back and watching it burn, whereas Bane wants to be an active member of burning the city. Anyway, so I feel like that's my review. Batman Begins, we learn about Batman and what he can and can't do. Dark Knight, we learn about how Batman makes a lot of mistakes because he doesn't really know who the Joker is and what he's capable of. And in the third movie, we've got Batman versus Bane. Batman has hung up his cape. He doesn't need to become Batman, but he has to stop Bane, and to him, no one else could. But the problem is other people could have. But in a way, they needed Batman. They needed Bruce Wayne's skills. He gets the bat from Lucius Fox. It's really funny. They're seen together. It's like, you know, Bruce Wayne's done with Batman, so Lucius Fox says, well, I'll show you some stuff anyway. It's pretty. And then that just shows a new plot line for Bruce Wayne and how later on he will be using the instruments that Lucius Fox shows. But also Bane uses them because he gets into that secret area that no one's supposed to know about. He's like, your precious armory. We're going to need it. And he's right. They will need it because it's all part of his plan. If you learn anything from the movies, you learn that if you want to save a city or if you want to destroy a city, you've got to have a plan. But also, you got to make sure that your plan is foolproof. The Joker's plan isn't really a plan at all. It's just to flip everything upside down. He doesn't need to rob the bank. He robs the bank because he wants to put fear in the public's eyes. He doesn't need the money. You see him burn it later on. Harvey Dent was part of his plan because he wanted to show that even a mayor, a good mayor, it's like turning Justin Trudeau into a two-faced man. Like, it's possible Justin Trudeau's more two-faced than we really know, but the point is, every good citizen, every good hero can also be a criminal, or can also be a crook, or a villain, and that's what the Joker's trying to argue. You know, there's not always light. There's a lot of dark. And we learn a lot about dark with Batman, but now we learn more about the dark with the Joker, and how you think Batman has made his match with the Joker, but really Bane is Batman's match, because Bane defeats Batman. The Joker does not. He tries, but he doesn't succeed. Bane breaks Batman's back. I mean, Bruce Wayne doesn't even think he can get out there, especially when he's like locked in this pit, which goes back to the well in Batman Begins and the bats, and you even see that he has to embrace his fear all over again. There's a scene where he sees the bats flying out, and then finally he's able to get to the rock and get out of this large well that's larger than the one he fell down in the first movie. So yeah, so I guess my third recap or whatever is basically in Batman Begins, we learn about Batman and the villains that he faces and the danger of Gotham City. In the second movie, we learn about Batman and who we believe is his his match, the Joker. But in the third movie, we realize his real match is Bane, but Bane defeats the Joker. So Bane defeats Batman, which shows that he's stronger than the Joker. And he is, literally. I mean, the Joker is strong, but he's not as strong as Bane. And so we learn in the first movie that Batman Begins that Batman is a human being who's trying to protect a city from being literally burned to the ground. In the second movie, we learn that Batman is a human being facing another human being, the Joker, but he's able to defeat the Joker in the end, and the Joker doesn't even care, obviously. And in the third one, he faces his real match, Bane, and Bane defeats Batman. And in the end, Batman does not defeat Bane. Catwoman is on Batman's motorcycle and basically shoots Bane down. Bane could have easily won. That's the scariest part. And that's what I think the fans have really admitted to themselves, that somebody could kill Batman. Well, in the movies, it's Bane. In the arguments of the comic books, it's the Riddler. But I'll leave that for another time. Hope you enjoyed this.